I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking through.
How to authentically wow and why it's important. So today's going to be a pretty cool day. I have 3 guests, wonderful guests, to talk about this topic and how it showed up in their world. But before we do that, I have a shameless plug from me, my sponsor. So, do you own a business? Are you an entrepreneur? Do you ever have a question about business? Maybe time, team, money, exit strategies? Well, guess what? It's your lucky day. I happen to be a business coach and connected to several hundred around the globe. So if I can't answer your question, of course I can't ask your question. I can only answer it. But if I don't have the answer for it, not a problem. I'll introduce you to someone in that network that could probably address your concern very effectively. And the other thing that's cool, it's no charge. There's no credit card required. If you're watching this live, thank you for being here today, this afternoon, this morning. If you're not and you're watching it on the replay, please go hashtag replay. Let us know where you're watching us from. I'm excited today. I've got, because I mentioned, I have a panel today of some lovely, interesting individuals from North America, but not all from the same place. Isn't that exciting? So let me just bring them up one at a time, because I don't know how to do all 3. Here we go. Here we are. We've got Mickey, we've got Kellen, we've got Luke. Welcome, gang. Thanks for being here and helping me address this conversation about wow. So, Luke, tell me about you.
Yeah.
Where are you from? What do you do?
I'm excited to be back on the show again. My name's Luke. I am 13 years old. I've known Phil for quite a while now. Kellen introduced me, so it's kind of cool how the panel goes along of introducing them. I'm excited to meet and work with Mikey as well. And yeah, so I'm 13 years old. I have my own business. I do product reviews and tech products and camping gear from a kid's point of view.
You're still there.
Go?
There you go.
I'm just testing the buttons. I'm just trying to wow everybody.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Luke's back.
Yeah, see, I have my own product review business. I do product reviews. I'm a filmmaker and photographer, and I live out of just by Calgary, Alberta.
In the foothills of the Rockies. Go all the way down to Colorado.
Yeah.
So if you disappear, keep talking. It's the amateur not doing such a wow job on moving people around. I figured out where you need to be if I do that. So, Mickey, why don't you go? It was you and I that had this. Well, it was actually your brilliant idea. So here we are.
Well, my name is Mickey Mikeworth, and I'm a business consultant as well. I specialize in prosperity. I've dedicated my life to prosperity, on teaching people how to magnify things that are uniquely and amazingly them. And so Phil and I have been talking. I'm traveling today. That's why you see me from this beautiful hotel room. And we wanted to really bring some other people into the conversation because there's a lot of wow in the world. And these other guests also are people who have a lot of wow.
Yeah. And there's room to wow people even more so. Right, Kellen?
Of course. Hi, I'm Kellen Ann, and I am the owner of Cards That Wow, a business I started during the pandemic. I was a commercial real estate broker for 17 years and was done with it and wanted to take my talents where I could help people wow their clients. and it's turned into it's growing every day. And I help you wow your clients with personal note cards, handmade, with your branding on it. I've expanded to handmade branded gifts for gifting. And I also am working now with event planners and helping them wow the guests at their events. So Phil, thanks for having me here. I'm real excited.
Thanks for being here to make it a group, a panel. Just a shameless plug. It's not working well, but the card looks way better than what it does on my screen right now. That's one of the pieces. And on my wall, I have a picture frame with that word in there too. Well, ooh, it's like space.
It looks like a ghost.
I know. But it's really solid and it's real. It's not fake. Matter of fact, speaking of wow, I don't have that picture here. I never thought to bring it up, but something I've been a fan of, and Kellen's actually made it even more impactful. We were talking about a book written by the author, I forget, but you've met him and you've done some work for him. And the book is called Giftology. And if we...
John Rulin.
That's right. And if we use our brand when we send it out, our golf shirts with our brand on it, that's okay, depending on the situation. But if you really want to wow them, you put their brand in something. So I had Kellen do something that really wowed a client of mine. So we did a picture frame with the name of the company with their brand and their logo and the recipient's name in it. And the impact that had, it really got a wow response from the people that got them. And actually one of them reached back to Kellen to find out more about what she could do for their company. So that was kind of a wow moment, wasn't it?
That's exactly what I want to happen when you give one of my gifts. I want you to have top of mind awareness 24/7 without being obnoxious about it.
Right. Obnoxious. That's like when you go on social media and you put yourself out there and people say, hey, I see we have something in common, or we have a bunch of people in common. And then the next one after you go, okay, I'll connect. And then you connect or make some friends. And then they use that word. They do something that defines the word pitch for me. I hate that word. It's like nails on the blackboard. They pitch you because they want you to hook up with them because it's all about them and not about us, right? Instead of building rapport, building a relationship, seeing if there's a problem that they have you can solve, they jump right into, hey, I help you get 50 new clients every day. Well, I don't want 50 new clients. That's way too many for me.
I want to know you. I want to engage with you. I want to see if what we have to offer each other is even relevant.
Yes, exactly. What do you guys say? Mickey, Luke?
Well, I like to know people. I mean, I'm in the prosperity business. So, and that part is how we connect. That's how we grow. That's how we co-create. That's how all of you guys got here today, is because, we were all willing to have something that was greater than just two parts, right? It's the sum is much bigger than just the parts.
Mm-hmm.
And I was secretly trying to meet Luke.
I think, like, I always say for me, like, my favorite part about business and entrepreneurship is connecting with like-minded people who also have the same passion and drivenness for connecting and just building valuable relationships. Like, one thing that I've always been doing is if someone asked me to come on their podcast or whatever, I always send them a free t-shirt and a card. And I'd always get the cards from like the grocery store or whatever. But now I've been using Kellen's cards as a thing. And people are like, whoa, these cards look super cool. So they get a card, they get a t-shirt. It builds a super cool relationship. And every time they see the t-shirt or the card, they're like, oh yeah, that was that kid. And just doing those little things and just building a valuable, genuine relationship is super important. And just those connections that you make and cherish forever and keep going strong. Those are the things that will create friendships that are for a lifelong time. And so I think that's super important, of just creating valuable relationships and having fun at it.
I think that's the key. I think that's the one thing that binds us all here, is I can see that all of us like to smile, but we also are just like to be here. It's fun to be together.
A three-letter F word. Fun. Luke, how do I get on your show? Like, I know winter's here right now, but I'm optimistic. Summer's going to hit our land soon, and I'll need a new T-shirt for summer. Just kidding.
Phil lives literally like 25 minutes away from me. And yesterday I was out in the forest doing some work or whatever. So I live out in the forest, cutting down some trees that were dead. And literally it was hot. I was sweating. And now we have like 1.5 feet of snow that just came over here overnight. And I thought summer was here. And there's like literally like it's hard to walk now. There's so much snow.
We've
And
been
there wasn't
winter
any snow on the
wound.
ground for like 1.5 months.
Yeah. Yeah. So much for saying to the world that doesn't snow much in Canada.
I'm melting here in Florida, by the way.
Are you? You're still in Florida?
So it's so hot. Yeah.
Cool. You've been there, what, 3 or 4 days now?
I think I got here Thursday. Yeah, Thursday.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be here till the end of the week. I think it's a cool place. I've never been here before, so I'm really
Very
liking
cool.
it. But you know what I want to talk about, and I know, is it Mickey or Mikey?
It's Mickey.
Mickey, okay. And I know you'll agree with me on this. The building of the relationship and connecting in the connection. You know, we talked about how on LinkedIn you agreed to connect with somebody, which I'm very, very picky with, because I figure that if I'm connecting with this person, I'm telling my connections that I know this person, I trust them, I value them, and that I respect them. So I'm not quick to connect with somebody on LinkedIn. But when you take that chance and they send you that 15 paragraphs of why they should work with you, they don't understand the patience part of it. You know, I will research somebody. If I think I know somebody that's on LinkedIn that can use my service that will help them enhance their business, I won't just send them a connection. I will follow them for a little bit. I will see their post. I will find out what is important to them. And I just want to give you an example of one. Is my business model is, if I think I can help you, I'll send you a sample card. I'll find your logo somewhere and mail it to you. And one lady that I did end up connecting with on LinkedIn, it took 2 years. She said she had the card on her desk for 2 years. She finally called me and she ordered 100 cards. So it's, you know, you even though it was 2 years, that relationship is priceless, because now I know I have a client for life. I didn't badger her with pitches, as Phil hates us to say. And I think that's important for our people that are listening to realize that it's not a quick thing. Sometimes it's not a slam dunk. You have to work and be patient and be authentic. That's my little bit I wanted to say.
I just want to add on to the pitch so people understand. I think pitch does have an appropriate place in certain places.
Oh, yeah.
On a football pitch where they play English style football, that's a pitch.
Or
Or
baseball.
a cricket pitch. Or baseball. I'm going to throw you a curveball, or I'm going to throw you a fastball. When you're building relationships and being somebody bringing value forward, if we're pitching a curveball or a fastball or a knuckleball, man, that doesn't feel good or sound good to me. I love to buy because it makes me smile. I hate to be sold. And when I make a bad decision, I'll blame it on the seller because I let them sell me, unprofessionally. Anyway, even though I know I'm accountable and I'm responsible and I made the decision, let's show up with authenticity. That was one of the words in what we're talking about today. How do you authentically wow people? And I think it's not like North America when we were building cars and capturing market share, and we wouldn't make any changes to what we were doing in the manufacturing process unless it was a home run out of the park. Whereas the Asians, Japanese specifically, they did the small incremental improvements on a regular basis and took over the marketplace. So slow and steady, just like Kellen's talking about. What do you guys want to add to that?
Luke,
Mickey,
you
look like you want.
I can go. Yeah.
Right. I watched you unmute.
Yeah, like for me, one thing about that is, pitching is something, I think there's so many connections, and we've all done it before where we send a message, right? And we do a pitch. I think we've all made that mistake before, and we've learned from that. But at least I have. I don't know if anyone else has. I've done the pitch thing where I send a message and learn from that. But I think a pitch is selling something that person doesn't know about yet. It's pitching, right? But I think creating that relationship, and even when you do need to, I think pitching has its time and its place. Eventually you do actually have to make a sell if you need to. I mean, not all my relationships I'm going to pitch to everyone, but if you think that this person is going to be a good fit, or if they think that they need this, educating them and saying, hey, this could help you. Does this sound like something, and educating them on that product is super important. Saying, because I've had some people say, I'm struggling with this right now. And lots of time I won't even sell them my own product. I'm like, hey, actually, I know this person. They can help you with this. One person was asking, they want to start Airbnb company. I know absolutely nothing about Airbnbs, but I have a friend who's made millions of dollars in Airbnb. I'm like, let me connect you with that person. And connecting people with other people is super important. I hate the word pitch because it sounds like such a hard pitch, but I think educating and connecting and growing a network is super important, and building that up to helping people. And I would just say, I try to help people in any way I can. And I think that's just something that people should just live by, and just help in any way you can.
So Luke,
I think Luke hit on sentence.
If you want to use the P word, why not go to, would it be crazy of me to suggest to you, maybe even ridiculous of me, to suggest to you to say, why don't you present versus pitch?
That's a great word.
It's like being assertive versus aggressive. Assertive is nothing wrong with assertiveness. That's what Kellen's life has been on. She's assertive greatness. She's not aggressively pushing stuff. She's assertively presenting. So present instead of pitch, assert versus aggress. Just food for thought.
I think Luke also hit on something very important. When developing the relationship, you become a resource. And, I was going to ask the question to all of you, how many of you have turned down clients because you knew what you had wasn't right for them? It wasn't the right time. It wasn't I did this in real estate. I refused to help somebody buy a house because I knew they couldn't afford it. They went to another realtor. They bought the house. They lost the house. They came back to me and said, God, I wish we would have waited. But that's beside the point. What Luke is doing is you're creating value by becoming a resource. You knew that you didn't know how to help somebody with that bed and breakfast. So you thought, I'm going to create trust with this potential client, move them somewhere else. And then somewhere down the line, they're going to remember you and they're going to come back to you. And developing that kind of trust it's so important today.
Yeah, I have a very little different bit on that. Is that I look for the magic. I look for what it is that I think is amazing about that other person, and then I'll start tapping right there. Of what? Tell me more about this magic. And I think the easiest way for me to build relationships is to be honestly curious. I'm a curious person. Sometimes that feels nosy. Sometimes that feels a little bargy-inny, because people aren't used to actually talking about their real self. That they live in this glass house of a person that they show to the world. When you ask real questions about people, about, wow, tell me more about this mountain you live in, or what, I want to hear this forest. We're going to need to know more about this forest. Or, Florida. Oh my gosh, I was just there for, a while. When I start to tap in on the magic of them, and that's really seeing the people that are here and seeing them as valuable, as being someone worth knowing, as someone who has an interesting story as them as a human, not as what they're selling. That's really how I go in, is I come in as a curious partner.
I like that. Curious is a good word. The other one I like that goes along with that is fascinate. Yeah. Be fascinated with people, right? And then I've got authentic going along the bottom because that's what we're all talking about. And it was in our headline. So it's not that I creatively came up with something unique. I think all four of us are saying the same thing.
And I think you have to ask to build valuable relationships, because that's how you get deeper and deeper and build meaningful connections. Like I got one person the other day who's doing that pitch style and messaged me straight up, just said, hey, how are you doing? I'm like, this actually might be good. And then straight up said, hey, I looked at your profile and I think you'd be really great for this program. I actually sell the program he's trying to sell me on. And I'm like, did you even look at my profile at all? It's in my banner. Like, you have to ask and check out people's profiles and get to say, hey, I love your dog. I actually have a dog that's the same breed as that. Or, hey, that food that you made was super good. Or tell me more about this. Building that bond in that relationship, asking questions, that builds deep, full, more meaningful connections.
Yeah, totally.
That's crazy. That's funny.
I have a mantra. I like it so much I have it on a card. No one cares about you until they know how much you care about them. I teach that in everything I do. So I'm glad that the other three of you are saying the same thing in your own vernacular. It's awesome.
It's true.
I like that word vernacular.
Yeah, I don't know how to spell it though. But I have spell checking or autocorrect, which sometimes doesn't wow me.
Autocorrect is an enemy.
I know,
Are
totally.
you kidding? Autocorrect is like my best humor writer. If I could hire autocorrect to write all of my speeches, they would be great.
That would be, yeah.
They would be great.
We should do that one time. Just have a speech and let autocorrect write it for us, and whatever it says, we'll just repeat.
Yeah, Phil, that's
Sometimes you can't do that.
Well, we might have to edit some of it. Beep, 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 beep. Right?
It
Anyway.
is so hilarious. I'm dyslexic, so spell check is around me a lot. And sometimes even I am stunned at how wrong spell check can be.
Yeah. I actually
Grammarly's wrong sometimes too.
Is it? Yes.
Yes, it's helped make me better than what I was though before. It's not, but that just goes to show you nothing's perfect, right?
Now, Kellyanne, what are you doing in Florida? Are you living somewhere else? Do you live two places?
No, I live in Georgia.
Uh-huh.
And speaking of fascinating, I started out making a fascinator for a derby party.
Oh,
and
right.
I made the
Fascinator's a hat, by the way, if you guys don't know.
No, I actually, I have British roots. We're very posh.
Okay. It's just a little hat that just has a little part here.
Not mine. Mine was the size of Texas. It was
fancy.
Anyway, I did invitations for this party, and then this lady had me come and decorate the whole party. So I came up 2 days early before the Derby, got everything set up. I painted a 7-foot racehorse, which I was gonna share yesterday on my Facebook page because I had my car stuffed full of boxes and lumber, and I said I can't wait to show you what this turns out to be, and it turned out to be this beautifully decorated home. So, but I slept all day yesterday. I was so exhausted from the party. So I'm going to put that Facebook post up today so you guys can see the racehorse I made, and it turned out so cool. I was so excited. So that's why I'm in Florida. And now I'm going to stay a couple days and go diving, and then I'll head back home and hit it hard because I got some more orders waiting for me. So
I saw the post with the back of your vehicle.
The back of my car.
Yeah, waiting. And I said I can't wait to see what you come up with, because often what you do is wow.
Can we talk about a 7-foot racehorse? What did you make a 7-foot racehorse out of?
Plywood.
Oh, wow.
Cut it in 2 pieces, stuffed it in my Subaru, drove 10 hours, and then put it. Oh, it turned out so cool though.
Oh, I
can't
show
wait.
You, but I can't wait.
I love it when things are in my head and they come out even better than what they were in my head.
Yeah. And like you said, you were in real estate before, and you got out of that, and the pandemic was the catalyst for you to do that, right? We don't need to go into the whole backstory about that. I know a little bit about it.
There it is. Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
So everybody stood there in their fascinators and their fancy suits, and
take their picture.
It was a stop and repeat for pictures.
Okay, can you put it up one more time so we can so our guests can hold on to it?
Yeah, put it really close and watch this. I'll do this.
Okay, and then there's Max. Max, my pug, was in 90% of the pictures. So he's sitting there waiting for the next guest.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's beautiful.
Our guests are going to love that piece. And so you drove that from Georgia to Florida?
Yes, ma'am.
Why didn't you ride it? But
So you want to hear something funny?
Yes,
for next year, I'm painting 20 of those. We're gonna have a full racehorse and 20 just like at the Derby. And then I'm gonna have personalized saddle pads with all their names on it.
And then we can turn them into, then we can make them into a carousel. A whole different party using the same horses.
So you're now finally living what's in your DNA, right? You went to school as a creative person Didn't go into
I
creative stuff.
graduated with a 3-dimensional studio art degree and then went completely into analytical type business.
And now
Didn't make sense.
you've matured, or matured's the wrong word. I want to say now you're more
It's
like
confidence.
your
It's confidence.
your childhood, your child essence has arrived.
Oh, it's exploding.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Like my card pales in comparison to the horse, but it's still awesome.
I love that. No, I love that card. I think, and Luke, I love your logo. I love your logo. And
I
Mickey,
love
send
how
me
you
your
made it.
logo.
Like I never even
I'll
would have
make you
thought
one
of
too.
like making it pop out. Like that's like the cool
I
part.
know.
Like making it like
It turned out really cool. I
Well,
was
how
really
do we see
excited.
that? Do you have a picture of that? We should show
Yeah,
our
I
guests
see-
that.
I don't know where I have them. I have some still.
It's okay if you want to go and have a look at it. There's enough of it here that we
Right.
won't even notice.
There's enough of us to fill in.
Yeah, like
Here, one
people
sec.
just
Let me
think
see if
we're
I can
in.
find
You
it.
know,
We said that we love watching you run around.
yeah, and in that beautiful home, I almost put that same house up.
Isn't this nice? It's natural. This is
Yours is
her
beautiful.
house.
Mine's
Right.
I want to just do my show from here every day.
mine's fake.
Like I would.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Well,
I was
mine's
proud.
real. I drove hours and hours and hours, gathered my family for Mother's Day weekend, and invited them to come back. It would have been my great-grandmother's 130th birthday this weekend. So we gathered as much of her history as we could. And so I'm still in that small town.
I just Star Trekked over to Luke's place.
Yeah. I think he's gonna laugh when he sees that.
I wonder if I could. We should all change it to that. I wonder if I can do that too. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to mess. I got it working. I'm not.
No,
gonna
yours is-
No.
yours is
I
fantastic.
like that piece. So the 3-dimensional art degree, what is that?
Ceramics, not ceramics, but sculpture. I did sculpture, a lot of sculptures.
Okay, so and that's how you understood how to do the horse.
Yeah, I always had a concept of dimension and
Here we go.
proportions. Are you ready?
Yes.
Oh, I love those cards.
Oh, I love this, how it comes out.
They're so cool. So it's sparkly, which looks super cool. So obviously, like you'd fold this back and then right on it, but like it's popped out a little bit to make it. It's hard to kind of see on camera, but it's
There you
popped
go.
out.
Yes.
You got it
of the
right
thing.
there.
Totally great.
Yeah.
It's
Could
totally
you move over a little bit, Luke? You're crowding me.
No, did you notice that he made
Did you
his
look at
house
this?
yours?
You guys are in the same house.
Yeah, let me go over here.
Yeah. Wait, then I'll go over here.
Right.
Okay, one to the piano, one to the couch.
Yeah, I'll go to the piano.
Right.
Oh, here, there.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yes, we were secretly thinking about that we would all be at your house.
Yeah.
Luke,
But I
that we
couldn't
would
figure
all
out how to
just
change my picture.
change our pictures and we'd all be at your house.
You know, one time someone had this as their background, and I complimented. I'm like, "Oh, your house is very nice," and I didn't. I only like just got StreamYard and didn't realize it was actually a virtual background.
Wonderful. It's wonderful. Hey, Luke, what's the most fun part about being you in business? What's the most fun thing?
Most fun thing for me, as being someone who's young and doesn't really have I can work as hard as I want or as little as I want right now. And I think for me, the coolest thing is just being able to create whatever and anything I want, connecting with super awesome people, creating super awesome things, impacting other people, and just having that thing of just being an entrepreneur is like the coolest part. I think an entrepreneur, like some people think of it as, creating lots of money or big businesses, or maybe having super cool relationships or podcasts, or maybe being a photographer, filmmaker, and doing whatever you want. I think all those different aspects of just being an entrepreneur and just being able to test out different things and have fun and just create whatever you desire at that moment. And I think that's the funnest part for me, is just creating whatever I feel is cool and what I can ever do to help other people. For me is the funnest part.
Right. But Kellyanne, that's what you were doing this weekend, right? I mean, same thing. That
Exactly.
years later, pulling in and being able to just say, let me think as big as I can think. And
Well, and a lot of it had to do with fear And I mean, I was always an artist. I had a double major. I also majored in economics, two yin and yang
Right.
degrees. If you, they're complete opposites. But and a lot of it had to do with childhood and people saying the wrong thing and not realizing that they were saying the wrong thing. I was told I was a horrible writer when I was in a medium sized, like 20 years, when I was 20 in my 20s, and I was never really pushed to do the art thing because, and when you don't, sometimes saying nothing is worse than saying something bad. So it took a lot of, I had to develop some confidence within my talents and my creativity in order to actually push myself forward and to be, because I'm hella talented now and I feel like an artist finally. It's taken 50 some years, but I feel like an artist. And this non-writer, her book's coming out in May, at
I was
the
going
end
to
of
say,
May,
she's an artist in the three-dimensional world, and she's also
right?
an author, published author.
Almost published. Oh, it's almost published.
Close enough.
Yeah,
And
close
Phil,
enough.
you also just came back from a conference where you also got to showcase your creativity and some of the wow work that you've been doing.
Mhm.
What's the funnest part of your business?
The funnest part is when I get the blinding flash of the obvious or the aha moment from the people I get to work with, whether I get paid or not. Paid is nice, but it's the aha moments that people have, light bulb moments that I also call them. Like getting an email from somebody when I'm delivering a training program and I'm feeling like, man, are they really getting this? Am I doing a good enough job? And then the next day I get an email, wow, that was for only so many sessions into it. This is game changing. This is life changing. I'm going through blah, blah, blah. I won't tell you what they're going through, but they're going through some turbulent times, and being part of helping them lift themselves up, get a little bit of light behind them, and having something to look forward to, that's what cranks me up. And when I was in New Orleans, we did showcase a client of mine. I nominated them as a case study and as an example of what we do as coaches. And we had an hour presentation from the regional vice president of the company. And it was touted as the best ever customer client example. And people were saying I did a great presentation. You know what I did? I stood behind the lectern. I talked about 5 minutes in the whole hour. My facilitator coach partner hosted it, and we had my client guest. We did everything virtually. I still have not met the man. We did everything over the internet via either the phone, Teams, Zoom, or WebEx at times, and the whole program was done like that. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So old people can learn new things.
Well, and we are all in each a different decade, right?
Yeah.
And what we all have in common, it sounds like, is how when you reach in to that place within yourself that says, hey, this is a fit and this is creative and I vibe with this, it sounds like magic starts to happen. Because that's what's fun, right? Is to be here. Luke, I think about your age, it comes up a lot. But when I contrast that with Kellyanne, right? She's looking at and creating the same magic that you are, but you guys are in two different parts of your life. Isn't that fun to watch?
It is. It's cool. It's just like connecting with all you guys right now. It's I like my dad always says to me, surround yourself with the people you want to be like, right? If you surround yourself with the people you want to be like, that inspire you, that motivate you daily, you're going to become one of those people and you're going to become awesome and you're going to learn new things from everyone. And so I'm loving this today.
I'm loving that. Kellyanne, how you see the contrast of India likeness? Yeah. What's the fun part about that for you, of seeing it in all of us mirroring right alongside you?
I think the thing I love most about when you are doing what you're meant to do, and then you have a serving heart. I know all of us have a serving heart, and to know that you're actually helping a client, a friend, whoever, to push themselves to the next level or make them stand out or make them wow. That's what gets me excited, is when I know what I'm doing is helping somebody help themselves and help their company, help their brand, help whatever. And that makes me really excited.
Yeah, yeah. And I saw Eric's comment come up right while we were talking about creativity during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Did that happen for everybody else too? I mean, did COVID did it make you more creative?
Yeah, I think what it did for me was recognize that there's been COVID moments throughout our whole life, maybe not as to that level of the leverage power of a COVID event. But if we look at all the stuff in life that it throws at us and turn it into lemonade, that's what COVID did, I think, for me. And this show was born out of the need to be in front of people, because that did put a stop order in being able to see people in person. And how could I creatively and innovatively connect with others? And so I went looking for where people were. It's like there was a famous bank robber, so famous I forget his name. But what's cool about the story is that when they actually got him arrested and put him in cuffs, so he was asked, "So why do you rob banks?" Well, that's where the money is. So where the opportunity is where we turn those lemons into lemonade. What I found about the last couple of years is I've learned how to make multiple flavors of lemonade and some other products as well, metaphorically and literally. Out of it, I created a program that was delivered and facilitated virtually across Western Canada. Now I just recently did one in Eastern Canada, and I'm in Western Canada, and it's graduating this week. The last episode is this week. And we started another one with the same company in the West. So it's like opportunities everywhere if you show up authentically and serve from the right place.
And creativity is not just art and painting. And I mean, it taught us to be creative in our sales techniques, and which is why our group got together, Phil, our Megamind group. Yep. We all taught each other, okay, we need to do this differently because we can't go face to face anymore. And we all experimented with different things, with video, and we had to be creative, not just with a paintbrush and paint, but with our sales tactics or techniques. And so, yeah, Eric's right. COVID brought out creativity because it was mandatory. We had to become creative.
And Eric put the Megamind group together with you, right? And as a result of that, what I love about that process is that one of the principles to success, and it's just like what we're doing here, is we have a mastermind group and we're sharing some insights and ideas. And it could be deliberately to work on the same project, or it could just be the extraction and the development of thoughts amongst the four of us here today. Right? That's what I love. Oh, look, Eric even likes lemonade. But it was Eric that got us together and helped us make lemonade out of the lemon we were given. One of the things that he was adamant about was how can you show up creatively and differently with the people that you want to talk to? And the way we did that was he challenged us to use video and voice messages via the technology, whether it be on Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever.
We weren't allowed to type a message.
No.
We weren't allowed to type a message. We had to do it video or voice.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eric.
Luke, you are from a different era than the rest of us. What was COVID like for you as someone who was young? I mean, you were very young during COVID. I mean, it's still here.
COVID was when COVID first started for me. It was during COVID. I've skyrocketed for me. It was a way for me to, since school wasn't in person anymore, we were starting to do virtual school, which gave me more time to work on my business and work on videos and work on my creativity. So for me, it was really good. And I think I've been working most of COVID on my business. So like I started my business at 9 years old, and COVID came along when I was like 11. So for most of my business, I've been working through COVID. So for me, it's pretty normal. The only part I would say COVID that wasn't so good is I've had COVID before. And the problem with that is that the sickness, I was just super tired all the time, had a sore throat, just wasn't very active at all. that part wasn't great. But the part that sucked even more was the week after, because I was starting to feel pretty good. I was still feeling pretty tired, but I was feeling physically pretty good. But I was just so creatively drained. I just didn't have any creativity in me. I was just feeling just drained and unmotivated to do anything, even though I wanted to do stuff. I just felt just drained in general. And so for me, that was probably the hardest part about COVID for that. But other than that, like it's been really awesome for me. I've got to connect with so many people virtually, since more and more people are used to using Zoom and stuff like that. It gives me more of an opportunity to connect with people like this. And for me, COVID has been it's a new way to connect and to a new way to learn on how to connect and how to work through that. And so for me, it's been pretty well the whole time, and I love it. I don't love COVID as a way, but
the generation, but the things that have happened in that community. We have a mastermind group here that I started years ago, and that mastermind group I always delivered live. I always created new content for it. I still do that. And when COVID came, we went online, and it totally changed for the better my ability to teach to far more people. And to be able to have those classes available for people to see over time on YouTube. And that's another thing about your show, Phil, so that they can see it online. They can see it on YouTube. They can see it on LinkedIn. You put it out in 10 locations live, right? Has that changed for you, how you message or how important your wow is?
Well, yeah, I think it's changed for me. It gives me one of my goals in life was to not underlive anymore, right? When I look back at the dots of my life, some choices and decisions that held me back or I didn't make or kind of got stuck, it's helped me break through that. So one of the things, if you listen to the words to the intro song and on the outro, you'll hear it as well. I keep my word to myself is one of my master goals, because I'll keep my word to others more up until now, more so than I would have for myself. So I was putting more weight and value on other people than I was on me. And I've identified that as one of my saboteurs. I'm a people pleaser. And as a result of that, there's some negative impacts on that. So I'm going through a process of adding to my coaching experience, knowledge, and offerings to help people live to their full potential by stop under living and not letting their saboteurs, and there's 10 of them, by the way, slow them down from reaching their potential and their greatness. So this has allowed me to keep my word to myself, because there's be some Monday mornings maybe where I'm not as pumped up as I would be on a Wednesday or a Thursday or even a Friday or even a Saturday. And I know that I've made a commitment that the show goes on for 3 days of the week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And whether I have a guest on Monday or not, which I normally don't, I use it as a place for me to start my day and start my week and share some information that I'm stoked about. Either something I've read, something I've remembered, or I've been mentored and talked about, and I share that on the Mondays. And then the Wednesdays and Fridays, I love to have a guest on and share their greatness. And it's an organic conversation between two people. It's a mini mastermind. And what comes out of that for me is I get energized. It's just so much fun learning from other people. And so this has allowed me a platform to keep talking with a purpose, meeting people and sharing a message, whatever that might be. I've had artists, I've had young people, he was almost 12 on the show, and then he turned to 13, and I almost didn't have him on the show, Luke, because you had a birthday. You're getting anyway. I'm just kidding. It was past his prime. I know, exactly. So I've had all sorts of people. I've had a fellow that had an impact on Kellen, and there's lots of people have had impacts on us. But this one I'm thinking of, he's over in the UK and he's got a Geordie accent, and it's because of hanging out with him through all of this. Your book is coming out, and he keeps pushing you along the way. And that's Michael Heppel, an amazing, energetic, funny, intelligent dude. Started out building roofs, I think, or being a roofer, and now he's helping us elevate our roofs. So
When is the book
His little
coming out,
pop-up.
Kellyanne?
Well, it's going to be the end of May, but I'm pushing. I don't know. I'm just waiting for the right time. It just, my illustrator was on maternity leave and she's just finishing up this week. So it could be any day now.
Are you allowed to tell us any details about what you've got
Sure.
coming?
Yeah, it's called Wagmore. And it started out as a, I don't know how to explain it. It was like how I got through different portions of my life of abuse and just self-hatred, all that stuff. And it was like a 600,000 word book. And then when I started reading it, I thought nobody wants to sit through this many words. So I rewrote the whole book, and then I wrote it from the lessons that I learned from my pugs, because my pugs were with me throughout my whole recovery. And
Dog, your dog.
Yeah, dogs.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's 5 total. 3 of them are only living now, but I've put all 5 of my pugs in there, the lessons that I've learned from them on just anything from love to communication to relaxation. There's 10 chapters, and each covers a certain aspect of life that I feel is important to people. And it's all written tongue in cheek, and it's actually quite funny. So I turned this very serious topic, I'm not making light of it in any way, but I turned it from a very serious topic, tongue in cheek, into something that hopefully somebody will learn to sit back and just relax and, watch a pug, watch your dog, and see how they deal with things. Because a lot of times it'll help you deal with your stuff too, your demons, your whatever.
yeah, your adversity is a gift to the world. You went through it. Well, it is really. You've turned that lemon into lemonade.
And it all happened during COVID. It's like I did everything. Some people slept through COVID. I wrote a book. Actually, I wrote 1 full book, 2 half books. I've got 2 of them that are about halfway done, with the pugs as well. And started a business, moved from California to Georgia. It's like, let's just do everything at once, right, Phil?
Right. And wait a minute. There's one you forgot. What? You put her in university.
Got her to university.
You dealt with what you had to do with in California so that she could have the platform to launch off of. And then you said, okay, I've done that part. Now I'm going east.
And then I'm out of here.
You're an overnight success.
I just bloomed late. I bloomed late.
Right.
At least you're bloomed.
At least you're
Yeah.
Well,
But I'll tell you, a fun part was meeting. I would not know any of you, none of you, if it weren't for COVID. And Luke, you're just a little treasure. I just love you to death, and I can't wait. We're gonna do that art class we talked about. We're gonna do it.
Wait! What art class? I want in?
Luke, tell us about it.
Okay,
Kellen, I think it's what's the art class about again? I think you'd have to explain it.
I'm like, do you ever do kid things? Because you have such an adult life, and it's like, do you like, and I asked you if you liked art, and you said yes, and I said, I'm going to do an art class. Well, actually, the subscription boxes that I'm doing, I'm turning into something called Art Day. And every month we're going to learn a new artist, and there's going to be a box that'll have everything you need to do the project in. But I wanted to just do an art lesson. I promised Luke an art lesson just because I wanted
we could do it on outdoors, or what's the magic?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, he has an outdoor company.
No,
Is
this
there
is
a
just
topic
art,
or
fun
just
art.
artist?
Art
Okay.
for kids. No, I'm doing famous artists. I'm giving art lessons in my with the subscription boxes. But with Luke, we're just gonna have Art Day. Just do art.
That's so great.
Nothing formal.
I'm excited.
Yeah. I know, me too. Once I can come down from all this and get some time.
That's so great. And do you already have a subscription company, or is that new?
Well, I have one now. It's just cards that the parents can make with their kids. They put them together. But I've decided, instead of creating an art class and continuing the subscription, I was just combining the 2 of them. So it'll be cards that they can make, but it'll be a theme of the artist for the month. And then there'll be a live Zoom where people can come in with their parents and put the cards together. It's fun. Art Day.
We need it.
I'm going to show you.
That's what my kids used to call it because I volunteer and taught art for 15 years, K through 5. And when I'd walk in, the kids would go, "It's art day, it's art day."
Right.
So
What
I
if
want your
every day were
opinion,
art day?
ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
I was messing around with this last night, talking about creativity and trying to wow. I'm changing the look, and this is a header for my newsletter.
Uh-huh.
Out of these three, which is your top one?
I'd rather see you in the hard hat.
Right. None of the above, she's saying. Yeah. Yeah, we definitely need
Well,
you with a hard
I
hat.
like the picture of you. I like the bottom one. If you could extend the brown all the way over and put yourself in the picture, like with either the brown background or with the hat, with a hard hat on. Take away the background of your picture. Do you know how to do that?
No, not
Go
yet.
into elements.
Not yet.
I'll
Okay.
do that later.
I'll talk to you about that after the show.
Okay, that's fair.
Yes.
Actually,
but
the bottom one, I
definitely
think
like
all
your
you need.
picture.
Yeah,
I
I
just
think you
messed it
definitely
up.
need to just take the background. You just need to take the background out of the third one, and then it'll be good. Because I like the brown background.
Okay, cool.
That's just me.
Wow.
Yeah.
And let's go back to wow.
Yes.
Wow.
What's the next wow? What's everybody's next wow?
I have a luxury brand now where I take your logo and I put like thousands of dollars of Swarovski crystals and design things with really high-end, beautiful I can do handmade paper. Not me, somebody else makes it for me, but it's all handmade. And so that's my luxury brand. So I've just started that a little bit ago. So that's exciting.
My wow will be getting to the point where I can't do it already, but where I've actually had a number of people go through the PQ coaching mindset training, which is really not, actually it's wrong. I said mindset. It's really mental fitness. So, because if we develop this thing, then everything else can come out of that. Because it first starts with a thought here. If we look at everything in the space we're in, wherever you are, anything that was man-made first was a thought here. So if we can elevate people's thinking to another level so they can turn on their creative juices, not wait a lifetime to be their creative genius like Kellen is, they can help them do it sooner, right? That's without having to go through adversity, but recognize that the adversity, the challenges and things we go through are catalysts to our ideal end result. Like even in the farming community, they use manure to make stuff grow, right? So the shit is good stuff if we choose to think of it that way, isn't it?
Definitely.
What's your next wow, Mickey?
Well, I'm in a wow right now of gathering my family together to collect all those stories. But for my business, I have summer cohort coming, and that part's really great. Where I'll take 15 people and we'll adopt them for a summer. We do it every Monday, and we give them some really hard goals, and we give them a community, and we grow them hardcore for the whole summer. It's every Monday during the summer, and out of those stories come just these amazing people who are willing to deep dive, work really hard from all over the country. Last year I did a social change cohort, and we have a big show coming up with one of those photographers this next weekend. So my next wow is I'm in it right now. We're getting ready for next year's cohort. I'm doing some stuff with my family, and then we're finishing off what happens to last year's cohort 1 year later.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
Awesome.
Luke, what's your next wow?
Yeah.
That's what I was just thinking here. There's always so many projects I'm working on. And normally at the start of the week, I'm always figuring out, okay, what do I want to accomplish this week? What do I want to get out of this week? And so, as some of you may know or may not know, I have a mastermind with my dad, a company. Actually, Kellen made cards for me and my dad's company as well, Coach Troy's High Frequency Habits, where we're kind of in the same industry as Phil and Mickey, where we work with Bob Proctor in the Thinking into Results program on teaching you how to achieve what you truly desire in your life. And so we should be launching a new mastermind either this week or next week for some new people that are coming in. So that's super exciting. And I love masterminds. They're just like the funnest thing ever. It's even fun for me just to recalibrate at the end of the week. It's on Thursdays, so it kind of at the end of the week, it kind of shows you, okay, what do I accomplish this week? And then what do I want to get out this weekend and next week? And so it's really fun and it's really awesome. And I just love masterminds so much. And so, yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. I'm just soaking all this in. It's wonderful, right?
It is a soak in. It is a soak in.
It's actually wonderful. I was going somewhere with this. Nope, wrong place. I was saying I'm starting to be a little bit better like Bruce is, but maybe not. It's wonderful. Although I'm crushing.
Right, she's over there.
I know I should put me there. There we go. It's wonderful.
I can deal with it. I know.
Yeah. Anyway, it is wonderful. Wow, this is a great thing to do. I'm glad we did.
We're almost at the end of our hour.
I know.
Very fun.
Am I allowed to ask
always
one
fun
more
with Luke.
question?
Yes.
Right.
Go ahead.
I love all of our family kind of tree here. Hey, so Phil, again, that next wow, but what about I wrote it down. It was so meaningful, which was this commitment that I wasn't going to underlive anymore. That's a wow statement.
Mm-hmm.
That's a wow statement. What's going to happen?
Well, I'm going to continue to grow this client that I have. They're about $1 billion entity, and my goal has been to be their go-to company for what we do: sales training and leadership development and personal performance. So that's happening. I'm going back and forth. Started in Ottawa, then I went to Western Canada. Now it was in Ontario, and now it's back in Western Canada. And the feedback we're getting is that they're really appreciating and liking the results they're getting. That for what we do, that we'll be the company that they're leaning on in those spaces. So that's really what I'm focusing on currently.
Yeah, but what about you personally? I mean, that sounds like there's more goals under there. Is that true?
Well, when that's completed, I grow because of that process, and everything that I learn underpins everything I just said there. So I'm not sure exactly all the things I get to learn and add to what makes me me. I know there's some things currently that I'm working on, but there's going to be some other things that's going to put me, because as we throw the pebble into the pond and the ripple goes out, you run into opportunities and things you've never done before. Maybe they're going to ask me to do a keynote address somewhere that I've never done before. I don't know that. I don't want to commit to anything that's possible that I get locked on it. I think that the opportunity will show up for other things for me to grow into as this ripple effect happens. That's kind of what I'm thinking inside.
I love it. Did anybody else write that down from as a statement from Phil about what kind of wow is coming? Because I watched everybody write notes today on something.
Oh, I didn't write. I'm like in the middle of a living room. It's all up here.
It's all up here. It's all up here. It's all up here. What's next for you, Luke, in your wow? Do you have a secret wish?
A secret wish?
Yeah, like I wish I could do that.
I don't know. I'm super big on goal setting and creating goals. And so about 4 months ago, I created a whole bunch of goals that seemed, or like more like 8 months ago now, that seemed really impossible and hard that I couldn't do. And so now I've kind of run into a problem where I've achieved all those goals now. And so I'm actually trying to come up with, and it's good, but the problem is I'm trying to come up with new goals right now. And so that's the task
bigger
this week, that bigger and goals that push me and motivate me to keep doing something. And so that's something that is a wow thing, I guess you could say, for this week, of something, okay, I want to keep pushing towards that.
One thing you can add to that, Luke, is to make it real easier, instead of pushing, why not get pulled there? Like Stephen Jobs says, if you go after something you really want, you won't have to be pushed. The vision will pull you there. So just simplify it. What are you looking forward to?
that's the thing, is that's what I'm figuring out right now.
Yeah, just ask that question though. What am I looking forward to? And it's a lot easier way to get there.
I agree.
So what are you looking forward to, Mickey? What's your wow?
I had to write that down because I write when all of you speak, that I'm a note taker. So I learned from every one of you of like, oh, I got that's going to trigger my mind. What I'm looking forward to, I wrote a lot of really big goals this year, like Luke, and some of them I couldn't believe I got done already. So what I'm finding is the more creative I'm willing to be, the faster the creative things I want to do are eligible to happen. That was something I didn't know would happen, is the more I was available to do it, the faster it came, the more I could create with less energy. And that part of the magnification has been really interesting to me. So yeah, summer cohort's what's next on my calendar for sure.
You know what I like about what you said there, besides a lot? We have this thing in our head. If we don't do it, if we just try harder, we'll get there. If we just work hard, we'll get there. Well, I'd like to say bullshit on that. It takes effort, but if we do it from a state of ease, it happens so much faster. And you just said that. You were amazed at how fast they showed up. When I got into that space, they just happened. They didn't just happen. You did some things to move you there. But when we try to do something that's hard, we tend to resist it, and our creative stuff goes away. Some of my best creative ideas come when I'm having a shower, because I'm not trying to do anything hard, and my mind just opens up. So I would encourage people not to try harder to get to where they want to get to, but relax into it. That's what.
If you really love what you do, it doesn't feel like work, right?
No, exactly. And you can go for 72 hours a day, like Kellen does.
I slept for 2 days, so
that's okay. That's allowed.
And you're allowed to do that.
One of my mentors
that
mentored Bob Proctor was Leland Val Vanderwall, and he said we need to recreate in order to carry on. So recreation. You can't go 7 days straight for long. I mean, you can do it for a period of time, but if you're doing that all the time, then your creative juices disappear.
That's a tough lesson I learned when I moved, since I've been in Georgia, and I hammock every day. Well, not in Florida, but when I'm home, I hammock every day too. I go hammock, and it releases, and I rest. Sometimes I fall asleep. Sometimes I just sit there and think. But I'll tell you, I'm rejuvenated, and I'm ready to go another 4 hours, 10 hours.
It's amazing, isn't it? Well, we have to hammock inside part of the year because it's supposedly spring here, but it's got snow on the ground. We're already past the hour. It went so fast, and we could talk.
I know
a bunch more about a whole bunch of things that came up today. I'm glad Mickey came up with this idea a bunch of months ago to do this once a month and have a panel of people to come on and have a conversation about different things. Today's theme was wow, and I got wowed.
Me too.
So I'd like to thank all of you for being here, and have a wonderful rest of the week and rest of of May. Whether it's snowing or not doesn't matter. That's just a pothole, no big deal. We have winter coats, right, Luke?
Yeah, tons of winter coats.
I just have to get mine out of hibernation. Anyway, I'm just kidding. It's not that bad here. Wow, what a treat. Thank you guys for being here. I'm going to wrap this up.
Thank you, everyone.
Hang out for a little bit, and we'll see you in a moment.
And bye, everyone on LinkedIn. Bye, everyone on Facebook. Bye,
and
everyone
YouTube,
on
Twitter.
YouTube. Wherever you're finding us.
Exactly.
Yep.
Oh, wrong button. How do I get rid of all of you? I need a Bruce. Hey, that was a blast, wasn't it? Man, all the creative juices got stimulated for me. Anyway, to be respectful of your time, we're going to end the show. But if you want to see some more, hang out with us on the Business Renovator on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Till next time, I'm Coach Phil.
I get shit done. I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one.